Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we want to thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to celebrate the excellence in arts, culture, and creativity in our community with everyone who's here. My name is Rachel Basye, and I'm a commissioner and the co-chair for the Commission on Cultural Affairs, and I want to introduce Bobby LeFebre.
Good morning. My name is Bobby LeFebre. I'm also co-chair with Denver Commission on Cultural Affairs. Rachel and I are going to serve as your hosts for this morning. But before we do that, we'd like to welcome up Kent Rice, the Executive Director of Arts and Venues, to chat with us this morning. Kent.
Good morning, afternoon rather. Welcome. As Bobby said, I'm Kent Rice, Executive Director for Denver Arts and Venues. We are so happy to have such a huge crowd here. And thanks to all the servers, by the way, who are bringing us the food, and also to my team who put all this together. Man. Thanks to you guys, though, for giving up your time today for this important occasion. So I believe you all know, but I'm going to remind you, Arts and Venues is the part of the city that takes care of all the venues that you're familiar with, Red Rocks, the Denver Coliseum, the wonderful Performing Arts Complex, this awesome building right here, McNichols Civic Center building. We love this place, and it's perfect for events like this. We have a salesperson here if you'd like to sign up for some event on your way out. We charge, but it's not that expensive, honestly. We also, though, more importantly, are in charge of the arts and cultural programs in the city where the city government has a responsibility. And we love that part of our portfolio of what we do as well. In 2014, and many of you helped us launch this program, we put together the city's cultural plan, Imagine 2020, and it hadn't been fully revised since Mayor Pena was in office, so quite a long time. We're halfway through that, so Imagine 2020 was taking the city from 2014 through the year 2020. And we've got some research on that. We're not talking about that today, but we're making great progress, and it's thanks to the people like you who are here today, including our Commission on Cultural Affairs. I think many of them are sitting over here, but we have people appointed maybe back there. Yeah, you're everywhere, so you know who you are. In fact, come on, stand up. Commissioners? As I said, they're everywhere. And Mayor Hancock encouraged us with Imagine 2020 to continue doing what we can to lift up the city's arts and culture profile. Again, that's why we're here today, to recognize people who have done an exceptional job at that. I want to thank all of you, though, going back a few years, who worked on Imagine 2020, because we had 5,000 touch points. So people we interviewed who showed up at, in this building, in fact, to have direct interviews. You went online. We had a huge amount of data to guide us on what to do. So again, Imagine 2020 is an amazing cultural plan. I'm going to do a quick selling point, but New York City called and asked for our plan because they wanted some guidance. So here we are, guiding, the cultural epicenter of the Western Hemisphere. But yeah, Denver rocks. All right, so let's see what I'm really supposed to do. Oh yeah, it goes without saying, arts and culture make a city great, and this city is great because of that. I know the mayor and also the governor use our arts and culture profile when they're hyping the city as they go around the country. The people who are being honored today have supported arts and culture in unique and different ways, so you're going to learn who the winners are momentarily. But I want to recognize first a couple of things that are happening. One, you should have some gifts on your table, and the design of the table, how did we get that? Through the centerpieces and those little gifts, through the work of two people who are going to step up quickly and talk to you. Erika Ryder of Hope Tank, and Hope Tank won one of these awards a couple of years ago, and also Jade Baranski of Joy Lab. I think I got that right. So if you guys could come up here real quickly, I'd appreciate it.
Hello. Thank you for having us. Jade and I often come as a package deal. But for those of you that we have not met or worked with yet, I'm Erika Ryder. I'm the founder of Hope Tank. We sell gifts that give back. And I am a social worker turned entrepreneur like Bobby over there. And we get to use the store to talk to about 40,000 people annually about social justice efforts like what you all are doing right here in Denver.
So that makes me Jade Baranski. I'm the founder of Joy Lab. We are an impact-based MWBE, DBE, ED, and SBE woman-owned design firm.
Yes, yeah.
We work with partners like Hope Tank, Denver Urban Gardens, and Educational Equity for Leadership to amplify their impact. And we're here today because we're committed to creation that matters, and your swag bags on the table are just a tiny example of that. We're about work that honors culture, art, and community.
So imagine, if you will, if you could work with a company that would bring in, say, a native Spanish speaker to do your messaging rather than someone Googling the translation.
Imagine if nonprofits were encouraged to use beautiful, innovative art for their designs instead of awkward clip art. We all know the hands.
Some of you have them on your business cards. Imagine having members of the community that you serve actually be invited to participate in the messaging and design process. So we believe in the power of the people in our city, and we have made a commitment to using the store and projects like this to these swag bags here to lift up artists and businesses who are doing really good work in our community. So we agreed to do the swag bags this year if they allowed us to use local for the whole thing. And so in your bag, you're gonna find a sticker designed by a local female artist who gives back to the Wild Animal Sanctuary, a magnet that was made by Mile High Workshop. So this is an organization that provides services for people who are underserved and underemployed. A block from Access Gallery, which will make a lot more sense when you see the awards. And all of the printing was done by Rocket Pack and Ship, which is a local independent printer.
So to wrap things up, if you or anyone you know wants to do work that's awesome and collaborate with authentic people to create impact, all of our information is in your bags. So please reach out. Together we know that we can create real and lasting change in our city. And now we would like to introduce Tariana Navas-Nievas, Director of Cultural Affairs for Denver Arts and Venues, to share a little bit about the history of today's celebration. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jade and Erika. How's everyone doing today? Good, buenos dias. So inspired by Imagine 2020, the mayor of our city annually recognizes individuals and organizations that make significant and lasting contributions to the artistic and cultural landscape of the city and county of Denver. And Denver has a long history of support for the arts, and we're proud that these awards support the 7 vision elements that are the pillars of our cultural plan. And these include integrating art into daily life, amplifying Denver's cultural scene, ensuring that arts and culture are accessible to all, supporting our local talent, ensuring that art and cultural and creativity are recognized as fuels to our economic engine, and to really ensure that all of us collectively lead the arts in our city. So today we actually celebrate 31 years of celebrating the Mayor's Awards, and over that time we have recognized over 100 individuals and organizations. So today it's our great pleasure to recognize this year's organizations and individuals that are passionate, committed, and creative in our city. So now it is my great pleasure to introduce the Mayor of our city, Michael B. Hancock.
Would you join me once again in thanking the arts and venues, I said that right the first time, and the entire team that Kent Rice leads to make sure that we stay competitive. Once again, thank you. I want to acknowledge Kent you guys must be pretty important because he has a tie on. He doesn't even wear a tie when he comes to see me, and I'm his boss. You look good, Kent. You're welcome. You'll wear one for me? I'm going to hold you to that. Tatiana, thank you very much, and thank you to all of you for being here today. I'm really thrilled to be here to acknowledge our winners today, those who really contribute to our cultural and artistic landscape here in Denver. I know you all know this, but it's worth continuing to repeat that arts and culture play such a critical role in the city of Denver. I think Kent talked about it, that it is one of our greatest selling points as a city. And it is important that we keep a vibrant, thriving arts and cultural landscape in our great city. And we are great because of the foundation that we built in our arts and cultural community. And so I want to congratulate all of you for being here and the role that you play in keeping this city vibrant and thriving under this very important foundation. Denver is full of talented artists. And our performers continue to contribute to our quality of life through our galleries, our museums, our theaters, and our concert halls. Today we are here, as Tatiana mentioned, to recognize that our city wouldn't be the vibrant community that it is without the strong participation and support of our residents in arts and culture. I want to congratulate all the nominees today as we get ready to hand out the awards. I want to thank members of the City Council who are here. I'm going to call out their names, and if they would join us by standing up and being acknowledged, because they helped us really to help move this plan forward by blessing it when we brought it forward. Councilman Jolon Clark, Councilwoman Stacy Gilmore, Councilwoman Robin Kanish, and Councilwoman Mary Beth Sussman are here. Would you all stand? Is there anyone else who came in since we got this? Thank you. Thank you. And I understand that our former district attorney, Mitch Morrissey, is here as well. Where is Mitch? There you are. Thank you, Mitch. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So let's get on here. And I would also like to recognize Zero Sun Creative for creating the videos that you will view today, and Access Gallery for the beautiful awards that our winners will receive. Another group that must be recognized, and actually Kent stole my part, so I'm not going to recognize them because we had them stand, but let me publicly thank the commissioners of our Denver Commission of Cultural Affairs. We want to thank them for their commitment, their hard work. They don't get paid for this, but we appreciate your dedication of time and service to the commission. So the agency that Kent leads, of course, is a tremendous stewards of this great asset that we have. And today, not only do we honor our nominees, but we honor them. And we're ready to present the awards. So I'm going to ask Bobby LeFebre and Rachel Basye to come on back up here on the stage, and we'll get started with this party.
Oh, I was waiting for Bobby to join me. So we have many awards to give out today. Let's get started. But before we start, I want to talk for a few more minutes about the awards that we're giving, including the gallery and the Denver artists who created them. You can see them all here. VSA Access Gallery is an organization dedicated to increasing access to the arts for people with disabilities. And I think we have Chris from Access Gallery here, back there. Everyone wave to Chris. Stand, just be acknowledged, Chris, for all the great work you guys do for the community. The primary focus of Access Gallery is to provide economic opportunities through the visual arts for young people with disabilities who are often locked out of traditional jobs. In addition to gallery shows throughout the year, VSA Colorado Access Gallery has entered the realm of creating art for some of Colorado's most innovative and forward-thinking businesses and corporations. Today's awards were a collaborative art project done by the artists at Access Gallery, and if you haven't visited them, I highly encourage you to. Their space is in the Santa Fe Arts District. The pieces were created using the wheels of wheelchairs as the mechanism to apply paint to the canvas. And again, the small piece that you have in your swag bag was created in the same manner. So thank you for those pieces.
All right, so the first award that we're going to give today is the Youth Award. So let's take a minute just to give a round of applause for all the young people in our community. Yeah? This particular award honors an individual 17 years or younger who has made a significant impact and difference in the community here locally through the arts. It can also go to an organization that has significantly impacted the lives of children in the city and county of Denver through the arts. So our nominees this year, as you can see here, are Art from Ashes, Deborah Rosenbaum, Denver Public Schools Shakespeare Festival, Inside the Orchestra, Maya Claridge, the Museum of Contemporary Art, and Rebecca Canov. The 2017 Youth Arts and Culture Award goes to Denver Public Schools Shakespeare Festival.
The Shakespeare Festival takes over a good little chunk of downtown. We start over in Skyline Park, and then we parade down 3 blocks. We have about 5,000 students at that time. We have about 3,600 students that actively participate with performing in the festivals. All those costume students and chaperones parade down into the Performing Arts Complex.
In DPS, parents will visit the schools and they'll ask, do you offer this, do you offer athletics? And invariably there's the question of, do you take kids down to the Shakespeare Festival? It's kind of expected.
It's a beautiful chaos of elementary students, middle school students, high school students in tunics and with styrofoam swords. A wonderful sense of telling stories that are enduring to the kind of the human condition.
I have been to the Shakespeare Festival before. I was Juliet. It was fun. My favorite part is getting to see how different people do the plays in different ways and their approach to it.
I like that we just get to see a whole bunch of scenes and you also get to do yours so you can compare yours to others.
When you go to a regular play, you only see one play, but when you go to the Shakespeare Festival, you see all these different kinds and different plays.
I just think it's a great way to all come together as a drama community.
The excitement level is crazy. I mean, just to walk downtown inner city Denver and see so many different makeshift costumes.
It's been going for 33 years and it's this strong tradition. It's one thing to see it and hear about it, and it's another thing all its own to experience it and be there in person. The notoriety of Denver and the visibility of Denver, with this being the largest Shakespeare festival for students in the country, then especially for accessibility, where this is a free festival for all students within Denver Public Schools, and it's the generosity of our partners that make that possible.
It represents Denver's youth. I mean, it's guiding them in the right direction with an appreciation for what's there and a love of just being able to be on stage. There's nothing like having an audience show appreciation for something you've worked really hard at.
Round of applause, yeah. So receiving the award for Denver Public Schools is Beau Augustin, the Dance and Theater Arts Instructional Curriculum Specialist at DPS.
All right. Always odd seeing yourself on tape, so I'm getting over that. But thank you, Mr. Mayor, and on behalf of our team, we are humbled by the award and the recognition for, especially among such incredible organizations and individuals that were also nominated. The DPS Shakespeare Festival also has a humbling quality to it. We figured this out when we took this on 3 years ago, and that it represents something special for Denver. It's an extraordinary quality that makes Denver an incredible place to live and work, and a remarkable thing to be a part of. We count ourselves as fortunate and do not take for granted that we live in a city where it is commonplace that city workers, officials, the Denver Police Department, theater companies, performance venues, universities, teachers, and volunteers, to name a few of the folks involved in this, selflessly step forward annually as leaders asking a common question, that is, how can we make this festival the best possible experience for students? As torchbearers for this festival, we know that our work in serving so many students is made possible by the traditions that were established by those who led these efforts before our team. Individuals like Joe Kraft and Kathleen Angel, to the decades of leadership from the Gifted and Talented Department within Denver Public Schools. This festival has become a role model nationally for what community partnerships with school districts can look like in order to make a challenging and joyous experience available to all students. Each year, we're fortunate that this undertaking is possible with the help of the Denver Center for the Performing Arts, special recognition for the Education Department under the fearless leadership of Allison Watrous, the generosity of Denver Arts and Venues with their facilitation of the entire performing arts complex, and the Denver Public Schools Foundation with their leadership. Within Denver Public Schools, we also have many teams that jump in to make this possible. From our safety and security to transportation, our costumer, Jean Benson, and our senior leadership for valuing the experience and tradition that has truly become a rite of passage for students in DPS. We commonly see this legacy each year at the festival as parents and families come to support their young performers and share their experience with the Shakespeare Festival as a DPS grad. But any recognition of this event would be hollow without highlighting the most essential element of its continued success, and that is the tireless passion and dedication of teachers and school site coordinators that put in countless hours to transform students' lives through the arts and ensure that each student experiences success. On behalf of Denver Public Schools Arts and Physical Education Department, thank you for recognizing this event and the many folks that work on it and honoring their work and the passion of so many students annually. Lastly, I will extend an invite if you have not experienced the Shakespeare Festival firsthand. It is something that you see it on tape and it's one thing, but once you're there in person, it just has an electricity to it that will give you goosebumps. So please come join us on April 27th, 2018, rain or shine, for our 34th annual DPS Shakespeare Festival. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all of you here today for the work you do to make Denver a far-reaching beacon for arts and culture. Thank you.
All right, our next award this afternoon is the Arts and Culture Impact Award. This award acknowledges an individual or organization that has made a significant and lasting impact in the city and county of Denver. This category requires that the nominee have at least 10 years of history in the arts in Denver. This year, our nominees are Adrian Norris, Denver Arts Society, Augustina Arts, Floyd Ciruli, CM Dance, Crush, Colorado Thespians, the Denver Center for Performing Arts, Denver Young Artists Orchestra, the Mexican Cultural Center, the Newman Center for the Performing Arts, Robichon Gallery, Ron Wooding, Tracy Weil, and Zeppelin Development.
And the winner of this year's Arts and Culture Impact Award goes to the Mexican Cultural Center.
The Mexican Cultural Center's mission is to promote the Mexican culture in Colorado and to showcase the richness of its culture, its people, its cuisine, its art. It is a journey that we have walked for 25 years. We partner with many cultural institutions. We have long-standing partnerships with the Denver Art Museum, Museum of Nature and Science, Colorado Symphony, Museo de las Americas.
We offer this programming most of the time free. Probably some people it's the only time on their lives that they go to a Colorado Symphony concert.
Most of the work that we do, it's out in the community, but we do have this space And the most important part is to tell the stories. You know, this is Dia de los Muertos celebration, and why the colors, why the candles.
There's this misconception that Dia de Muertos is celebrating death because of the name sometimes, but it's not. It's celebrating life, it's honoring and remembering.
It's a learning experience that hopefully would enhance the life of the people that we touch. I think our vision aligns with the vision of Imagine 2020 to become more of a global city.
It's also about all of us working together, and you can see it not only in the programs that we do, but in the people that we serve. And that speaks about who we are and what we want to achieve.
The arts enrich our community. What we do is for everyone. We want our community to become part of our journey, our story.
So please help me welcome Marcela de la Mar, Executive Director of the Mexican Cultural Center. Aplauso.
How many of you speak Spanish? Perfect. Buenas tardes, Honorable Michael Hancock, Mayor of Denver, members of City Council, Denver Arts and Venue Leadership, Denver Commission of Cultural Affairs, fellow 2017 award nominees and winners, amigos, amigas, colegas. Over 20 years ago, when I started at the Mexican Cultural Center, I had a personal agenda. I hoped to teach my beloved son, Daniel, about the beauty and the cultural richness of my native Mexico. It has been an honor to share it not only with my son, but also with the children and the people of Denver. In today's climate, it is imperative that we value the contributions of diverse populations. I'm grateful that I live in a spectacular city where the contributions of many cultures are embraced and celebrated as an essential part of our community fabric. As the Mexican Cultural Center celebrates 25 years, we continue to strive to learn and to embrace other cultures as we share our own. With partners like the City of Denver, Denver Museum of Nature and Science, Denver Art Museum, Colorado Symphony, Museo de las Americas, Denver Botanic Gardens, and many more, we have produced exhibits and events such as Bochola on Wheels, Alebrije Monumental at DIA, Wings of the City sculpture at Commons Park, Dia de Muertos, Dia del Niño. But without you and the support of our sponsors, SCFD, foundations, the City of Denver, and our community, we couldn't have done it for all these years. So muchas gracias to all of you. We should always keep in mind as we prepare our city's future generations, nuestros niños, we should redouble our efforts to continue moving forward our cultural agenda, our Imagine 2020. I'm all in. Are you? I invite you to join us in building cultural bridges of understanding for future generations of our city. Mayor Hancock, I thank you for this award. I humbly accept on behalf of a longtime friend, a 25-year board member and mentor, Ron Montoya, my board, my team, volunteers, and the Mexican community. Colegas, de una manera muy egoísta, I dedicate this award to my beloved son, Daniel, who in heaven continues to be my world, my life, inspiration, and strength, and light. Muchas gracias.
All right, so our next award is for Global Arts and Culture. As Denver positions itself as a global creative capital, it's only proper to celebrate the creative people who put Denver on the world stage. The Global and Arts and Culture Award is presented to an individual or organization that has brought Denver's arts and culture to the national or world stage. Nominees for this category have received national or international recognition through collaboration, media, coverage, and grant dollars. This year's nominees are Aero Electronics, the Clifford Still Museum, Family Theater, and Irene Villar. The winner of the 2017 Global Arts Award is the Clifford Still Museum.
Clifford Still was actually raised on the prairies of eastern Washington state. Nothing in his biography would have predicted he would have been an artist. He was raised in farm country. He taught himself how to make a painting, mastered it probably very early in his life. He was throwing everything he had into being an artist, and in fact, he became a great one.
What's very interesting about the story of the Clifford Still Museum is the artist died in 1980, and his will was very simple. He would give his entire collection, which he kept virtually intact, to an American city that would build or designate permanent quarters for his collection.
Our now governor, then Mayor John Hickenlooper, he was really the one that made the pitch, if you will, to Mrs. Still directly, and thankfully she agreed that Denver would be the best place for this collection. The vision for the museum really is to be more than just a show place for the art, and hopefully being a gathering place.
This is a fantastic building that was designed by the architect Brad Clopeful. He took the time to understand Clifford Still the artist. He took advantage of the abundance of natural light that blesses Colorado. It's a wonderful visitor experience to come through. 9 galleries gives the patron an opportunity to really express and almost communicate with Clifford Still's work. For the Clifford Still Museum in 2016 to be asked to contribute works of art to an international exhibition of abstract expressionism shown in both London and Bilbao, Spain, was a huge honor.
Between the two venues, over 675,000 people saw the 9 Still paintings.
It really put Clifford Still on the map, but it also put the city and county of Denver on the map, and we're pleased to be stewards of such an incredible collection. What we love so much about this museum is that people really have a very personal, unique experience, and you can see that as they come through. They're contemplating, they're reacting, they're interacting with the paintings.
One of the things that I think is very unique about this museum is the fact that we're still in the process of unpacking things. We're still unrolling paintings, stretching canvases. I often feel like we're only minutes or days ahead of our visitors. Most of our collection areas, the painting storage, the conservation studio that we're in today, are all fronted with glass windows. And they've become very popular areas for visitors. And I think that gives a slightly different experience to what people may see at larger institutions.
The future for Clifford Still Museum, I think, stands within the artwork and the abundance of it that we have. It's a unique situation for Denver to become the only home ever for this incredible collection.
One of the things we're really committed to is accessibility and removing some of the barriers that prevent people from visiting our museums. We have probably 200 hours a year where there's free admission to the museum. We're open every Friday night, free of charge. And I think that's a very important part of what Denver's trying to do, is to use our cultural assets, our cultural amenities, and make sure that they reach and touch people's lives.
Accepting the award for the Clifford Still Museum is Executive Director Dean Sobel.
Thanks, everyone. We're this museum of a modernist abstract painter, not always a recipe for success. But many of you probably don't know that the Clifford Still Museum collection is actually owned by the people of Denver. Clifford Still's will specified that it would be given to an American city at that point, and Denver, of course, rose to that challenge. So in a way, this collection is yours. Don't try to take one off the wall. That's maybe pushing that a little too far. But hopefully you'll share with me and my staff the honor that this award is. A few quick thank yous, first of all to the mayor and to Kent Rice and his fantastic team at Arts and Venues Denver. I also wanted to acknowledge Visit Denver, and our friends there, Jane Buck and Richard Scharf, have gone out of their way to help us be this kind of global institution that apparently we've become. I also want to thank the staff, the curators, conservators, the teachers, and other arts professionals that I can work with so closely, and of course the board, who has proven to be incredible leaders themselves. I think this award in the global category, as you saw in the video, is mostly due to the major loan that we made to the Royal Academy of Arts exhibition called Abstract Expressionism that also traveled to the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, where it was seen by roughly 675,000 people, more people than have actually laid their eyes on those same 9 paintings here in Denver. And every stop of the way, all 9 paintings carried the name Denver and Clyfford Still Museum, so we're especially proud of that. I think also the significant press coverage that was singling out Clyfford Still is really the surprise. As many of you know, Still was somewhat of a recluse, probably did everything in his power to make sure you didn't know who he was. For European audiences who hadn't seen Clyfford Still's works in any depth, he really did become the artist that people singled out as one that was the great surprise. So thank you very much for this award, and thank you for honoring the museum and for our role in this rising cultural presence in a city we call Denver. Thanks again.
All right, next we are going to be presenting the Arts and Culture Innovation Award. The award recognizes an individual or organization that is breaking new ground in the arts and whose innovative contributions to the arts have been significant in 2017.
This year's nominees are Art from Ashes, Crush, the Downtown Denver Business Improvement District, Levitt Pavilion, Ross Cherry Creek Denver Public Library, and Irene Villar. And our 2017 Arts and Culture Innovation Award winner is Crush.
When you have a city that's developing so much, having a strong art component to it makes it that more desirable to live. It brings a lot more foot traffic, a lot more interest to an area. Like this is a designated area to go visit now in Denver because of all the artwork, because it's an open gallery, because people don't have to feel like they have to belong to a certain crowd to go into a gallery and enjoy art or get an invite to something. And you know, they're out in the streets and it's for everyone. So the attention that it's brought to the area just because of the artwork alone has been great. Great for businesses, great for the artist community, great for the community at large. It's kind of brought the whole neighborhood to life.
My role really with Crush is to go out and find believers in the project, right? Developers, property owners, business owners who are willing to donate financially to get artwork on their building and be a part of this community project.
We're really trying to make it culturally relevant, knowing that the development was always coming. We worked and fought extremely hard through the mural project to get the art up on the walls before the development really came, to really lock in the roots of the neighborhood, that this stuff always existed here. We're looking for really solid content and doing public art for the city of Denver. We always like to work with the city as much as we can and be hand in hand and have the art speak to the values of the city and have the city values come through in the art that they help support as well. We're only as strong as our community, and that this could go away without continued support from public and private sectors, that we really strive to work with the community and hope that the core values that we embrace are accepted and supported in the future. Crush's strongest elements is that it finds these roadblocks and obstacles and overcomes them to strengthen the community through art.
I think we all know how many people are moving to Denver on a regular, how many other districts and communities may need or want the same type of experience that Crush has given to what we know as the Rhino Art District neighborhood. To be able to offer that to truly anyone to help change an environment, to shed a light on a community that may need some more love.
It is, for the most part, community-based, and that it's important to continue to foster and grow that, but not only just here, but We want to expand nationally and internationally, continue to build connections with other people who are doing similar things in different states and cities and countries so that we can continue to build a bigger, stronger community.
Accepting the award on behalf of Krosh is Robin Munro.
All right, you guys are gonna have to bear with me because I'm a visual artist and I don't do this very often, so. First of all, thank you to the mayor, the Arts and Venues, Urban Art Department, the Denver Commission of Cultural Affairs. CRUSH stands for Creative Rituals Under Social Harmony. What does that mean? It means we all have rituals within our day, how we get up, how we start, how we become creative. What that celebrates is all of us being able to come together and being able to share that experience. What we do is we bridge gaps in the community, in the artist community, creating a welcoming platform for people to come and share their experiences, their creative side, and build with each other. In doing so, we've been able to create safer walkways, streets, by creating an outdoor gallery where people of all walks can come and be able to experience this without having to feel like they belong to a certain class or anything of that nature. This last year, we've obtained 501c3 nonprofit status now. So being able to move forward, it's going to be easier for us to get more support through the community through that way and helping move forward with this. This last year we had over 100 installations with over 130 artists participating, and this were artists from all over the world, from Japan to London to all over. So we drive ourselves on creating an international connection with the local artist here and building bridges that way. Over the next year or so, we want to continue to provide more educational components and doing workshops and working with the youth, and hopefully being able to unify the Denver scene a little bit more within street art and graffiti. So thank you again for the award, and again, thanks for bearing with me through this process. Like again, I'm not a very good speaker, but I appreciate everything and all your guys' time.
Next is the Imagine 2020 Award. This award is presented to an individual or organization that exemplifies the vision and goals of Denver's cultural plan through their programs and initiatives. The individual or organization is setting an example to aspire to as we imagine Denver in the year 2020. This year's nominees are the Clyfford Still Museum, Colorado Children's Choir, Go Play Denver, Irene Villar, and the Mexican Cultural Center. And the 2017 recipient of the Imagine 2020 Award is Irene Villar.
Americas for Conservation in the Arts is very bold. It's very small, and yet it's so big. In America, arts and culture seem to be so separated and very much not relevant to communities at large. And coming from a Latino culture that everything that we say, it's embedded in beauty, right? And so I realized that that was an asset that we had and we could use it. AFCA's programs, they all share this urgent need to advance a healthy environment for everybody, and betting on arts and culture to do that. So we have an annual festival, the Americas Latino Eco Festival. Now we're in our 5th year. It takes place in Denver, hosted by Latinos. And so that's one of the ways we do it. We also do it through a publishing arm, intent on advancing diversity and conservation in books.
We have expanded quite a bit, working with schools, local community organizations, agencies. We're connecting people to the outdoors that oftentimes seem so far and removed from their reality. But in general, the programming itself is just, they enjoy it and they feel that there's an inner growth.
It's like we're all so busy, right? And I think that most of the time we are not inhabiting our bodies. One of the things that great art does is brings you back inside. You feel that the parameters of meaning have grown for yourself and that somehow you're connected and somehow you're a better person. And that's the magic of art.
Please welcome Irene Vilar.
Sorry for the delay. I was trying to convince my Lolita to join me. Come, come. See? No? It's okay. What a gift, what an honor, how validating. Thank you so much, Mayor, the leadership of Denver Arts and Venues, Ken, Tariana, Ginger, the whole team at the Mayor's office, and in the Imagine 2020 plan. I really feel that this initiative, I remember visiting the first brainstorming session in 2013 and being blown away by the ambitious vision of pushing a cultural plan that had diversity and inclusion embedded in it in ways that I had not seen it before. Really, I've seen it grown and become this, basically it's like a cultural activist organism that really believes in the capabilities of arts and culture to create social change. And if the mayor's swag bag doesn't signify that, I don't know what else does. So I'm really, really proud and feel very validated to be part of this. And I came to this country as an 11-year-old monolingual child from Puerto Rico, very, very ashamed of being monolingual and not belonging, whatever that was at the moment. And I remember that through books and reading, I was able to really become a global citizen and understand how my personal tics and antics and my own personal migrant story was so small in the face of so many other stories. So books was my first entry into the power of arts and culture to make you love yourself a little bit more and thus love the other. And so diversity and inclusion, we use those two words so often, and I still working at understanding it better and better, especially under the current administration. It just takes a whole new brand meaning, right? So diversity for me is especially in a city or in a cultural plan like this, diversity means being able to feel and hear the heartbeat of migrant stories around you. When you're able to feel that migrant richness all around you, you know you are standing in diversity. And inclusion, it's mechanisms that are placed, especially from those in power, like the city, the mayor, the Office of Arts and Culture, mechanisms that are put into place to assure that that heartbeat, those migrant stories that make up diversity are protected, celebrated, dignified, and not targeted and undermined. So I really thank you, Mayor Hancock. I thank you, all of you, for holding space for this miracle and this capability of the arts. Instead of talking more, I would like to introduce you to a young man that I admire so much. He's my citizen arts, not mine, but yours, citizen arts and sciences educator. And he will take a minute to just feel with you that migrant heartbeat.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to make this super quick. I am AFCA's, like she said, citizen and art educator, artist in residence. I make up my own titles every single time. But I'm going to showcase to you what we do by improvising a poem for you on the spot about Irene. That was not the plan. It's the plan now. It's what's happening. Okay.
You changed the plan. Okay.
As an immigrant child of a mother who left behind her whole tongue to pick up a new mouth in a country that made her believe a dream was only as rich as the dirt you could dig your nails into, I know power when I see it. I know when a woman walks in and she is taller than a mountain can dream to be. I know when she opens her mouth and hurricanes will sit down because she is speaking. Because she knows that she will never forget of an island whose oceans remind her of children's laughter. She will never forget of a people who understand that cooking in the kitchen is the best ritual you can do. That no amount of money or land or profit or ego can replace the feeling of being together in a soul unity, where everything that you can conjure is what you put in the mazapanes, in the empanadas, is what you put in your food, so that your children understand that you have worked from the dirt to the kitchen to provide everything that is sitting in front of them, that you have fought even the most treacherous of storms so they can have a home to sit peacefully in, that you have left behind an entire home and culture so they can have the best opportunities available to them, that as a mother, there is nothing you wouldn't do to make sure your children are as rich as this earth. Thank you.
And our final award today is the Leadership in the Arts Award. This award is given to someone who exemplifies sustained leadership and dedication to advancing arts, culture, and creativity across the city.
The 2017 recipients of the Leadership in the Arts Award, Floyd Ciruli.
I've been involved as a community volunteer with SCFD over many, many years. I got to know Floyd on the various campaigns that all of us worked on. In the 70s, all the arts were struggling in Denver. And from that period came these enormous ideas like SCFD. And Floyd was embedded right in the center of it because not only was he committed to the arts and culture, but he was a major poller and a political advisor. To win a sales tax in the whole metropolitan area took a lot of political acumen, which we all needed because we were all community volunteers.
It's a tax district, so it has to go to the voters. And it went for the first time in 1988, and I ran the campaign with volunteers and all the big cultural organizations, and it passed by 75% in the 6-county area. It was sort of a miracle because it began providing about $15 million for the cultural organizations. And we're talking the zoo and the art museum and the natural history museum, botanic gardens, and then hundreds of other smaller organizations. Over the years has translated into about 60 million today. So it's an important piece of their budget for all these great cultural amenities here in the Denver metro area.
It's not the easiest thing to convince voters to do this. If it were easy, the rest of the country would have done it. We are the only ones, and Floyd says we're the only ones in the US, we're the only ones in the world who do something like this.
One of the things I have done is both volunteer to help in the interim, but also run the campaigns when it's time to run a campaign. I was able to give them some guidance from my experience with political science and law and polling and the media. And so it was just a lucky mix that came together. We are just so lucky that the voters have consistently looked at it and said, this is worth keeping, let's do it.
It's a pivotal role. That's not to say a ton of other people don't have pivotal roles in doing this, but from the standpoint of a political strategy, that's a hard thing, and Floyd has hung on to that.
This exists because the civic community comes together and works for it. In other words, the business community, you see your chambers of commerce come together and work for it. You see your foundations come together and work for it. This is one of those things where people really sort of unite. Denver continues to grow. The city is a success, and at least one reason is because of our fabulous cultural amenities.
Please welcome Floyd Ciruli.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all of those who nominated me and helped approve the selection. I think the only group I would add, because we have a tremendous array of talented people here who are nominated and won, and I mentioned them, Denver voters. Not only did they pass the district by 73% 1 year ago today, which is an extraordinary number, they just supported Mayor Hancock's $1 billion bond initiative, which had more than $100 million for culture by the upper 60% level most recently. So what incredibly generous people that have supported us. In the audience, we have a number of people that have helped this district for much of the time, the entire 30 years. A number that helped in '04, and many that most recently dedicated about 4 years of their professional and volunteer life to see to it that we won this time. And as some of us on the older side of this are beginning to get ready to look for the next generation, I just wanted to point out, and I thought the video did a great job of that there are some values that are embedded in this that you can see that come out in Denver and Denver's leadership. And one of them was the ability and the willingness to compromise. We are a diverse and huge community in terms of our suburbs, our different constituencies, our different preferences for the arts. And every time we've done this, 1988, 95, 04, and most recently, we had to make compromises to make adjustments, and ultimately we came together. I thank our mayors and our county commissioners and our legislators for helping us, but ultimately it's the cultural community that has to recognize that when you look at this again in another decade and a half, that you're going to have that same sense of willingness to make compromise. And that goes to the second point, which was, I think, mentioned in the video, and that is that we then pull together. Most recently, Seattle, a wealthy city, a progressive city, did not pass a model drawn exactly off of ours nearly, that lost by 9,000 votes out of 400,000. And it was because they didn't civically come together. So when I and Jim Harrington and some of the people in the room went to the Metro Mayor's Caucus in 2014 and presented it, it was immediately accepted and and supported. And after maybe a half a year of arguments and disagreements that were being compromised, but nonetheless had been in the papers, one of those mayors stood up then in 2015 and he said, a suburban mayor, I would like a little more for my city, but let me tell you, I already have a tremendous benefit from this. I consider the SCFD like DIA. It is infrastructure for all of us. This is an investment for all of us. Oh, I love that mayor. But that was exactly the kind of civic leadership you saw from our mayors, from our chambers of commerce, from our legislators and others that put this together. And finally, I would just throw out, as we're thinking about the next few years, is that I've been doing polling every time we've done this. And my early poll will have maybe 40 or 50 questions on it, but I always tell everyone there's only really one question that matters. And most of you in the room probably can remember that because I've then told you about it afterwards. And that's called the favorability test. And what that shows is that our cultural institutions, especially those that are well known, have through the roof, through the skyline, favorability, much greater than our universities, greater than our sports teams. You know, that's not so hard now, but greater than our sports teams, greater than our politicians. I mean, just overwhelming favorability. And it's not just because they have a popular product and they deliver it well. Culture is popular, and they do a tremendous job here in the metro area. The entire 250, 300 recipients that have been the beneficiaries of this money in recent years. But more importantly, I think they have a sense of public regard. That is to say, they understand that the accessibility, the education levels, taking care of families, taking care of children, having some accountability is essential for the public to trust them and ultimately give them money. With that, I think if we maintain that, we will have this cultural district for as long as we have Denver. Thank you very much.
And let me just say to Floyd, to Deborah, to Kathy, and all the folks who are so interested, all of us in SCFD, it is the #1 requested best practice from all over the world called into my office. How did you do it? How did you make this happen? And so we're very proud of SCFD, $60 million commitment annually, a $3.8 billion economic impact. That's a heck of an ROI, wouldn't you agree? Good job. Thank you, Floyd, for your vision and leadership. This year, we have a new award to present, the Imagine 2020 District Challenge. In the spirit of Imagine 2020, I challenged each of the Denver City Council members to a brawl, to infuse arts and culture into their districts during Denver Arts Week. Denver Arts and Venues provided $2020 to each council member to find artists, organizations, or programs in their districts and to create new programming or enhance an existing program. I am pleased to announce 2 outstanding Imagine 2020 District Challenge projects. Councilman Jolan Clark brought 3 local artists to create 13 small ferry-sized doors to businesses along South Pearl Street and invited people to visit South Pearl to seek the doors, create art, and enjoy ferry-sized treats. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting an honorable mention for District 7's Ferry Doors of South Pearl Street is the Honorable Councilman Jolan Clark. In District 11, Pat Milbury engaged volunteer residents and students from Montbello High School to create a community mural. Dubbed Community Channels, not only did this project beautify the space, but it also brought together neighbors, both young and old, to connect through art. And the Imagine 2020 District Challenge winner, City Council District 11, the Honorable Stacy Gilmore.
I will be very brief. I just want to thank Pat Milbury and Rem Robinson, because a lot of times our artists don't get the recognition. And so we also had Hunter Stevens and Pat McKinney, and we had over 125 young people from the Montbello campus come over. We had so many kids in that canal, we had to have some of them get out because we were painting on each other, trying to do this artwork. And so just the honks and the waves in the community doing this, sometimes you're a little worried with public art if people are going to love it or hate it. I was ready either way, but you know what? Montbello residents, and as Mr. Ron, he chose us. He chose the community, and he chose to be there, and I just look forward to more collaborations with Sonar, Creative Division, and Pat and Rem. Thank you.
Again, let me congratulate all of our award winners today. I want to congratulate our nominees as well for the 2017 Mayor's Awards for Excellence in Arts and Culture. We appreciate all of your contributions that make Denver a wonderful place to live. And we hope you will continue to be inspired and to share a wonderful, all of your great talents and talk and show what Denver is all about. You are our foundation. After we get the connecting non-stop flight to a location, you really become the foundation which draws people to our great city. Continue supporting the implementation of Imagine 2020, Denver's cultural plan. Winners, I'll ask all of our winners to come forward. Let's take a quick photograph. And once again, congratulate everyone. Let's get this music started. Thank you all again for joining us.